crafty friends, Amanda here with Crafting with Amanda, and today I am doing the cards from the pieces that I send out to my VIPs for a thank you for their orders and being a VIP. And what I'm doing is I'm taking Christy's 30 days of sketches, round 9, and I'm going to use them as inspiration to make cards. So what you saw on the tabletop was all the pieces that I sent to the ladies, and you can always add your own embellishments. I had my plate of leaves and film strips and that I had been using while making the 30 days of sketches layouts, so I will be using a few pieces off of there, but not too many. One of them's leaves, and I know most everybody that's a VIP has some leaves and stamps in their possession. So I decided to cut one piece in half, and I was using, like I said, the inspiration of this first sketch, day 1, just the center of it, and so it kind of had this layered picture in the center of it. So I'm just using the Info Bloom papers, the bulk, front and back, and then I had these flowers that are from the Info Bloom scrapbook kit that I had then cut for my project. And I packed my Lagoon ink. If you are new to my channel, we are in the midst of having to move across country, and the house goes on the market, or went on the market actually on Friday. And so my studio had to be all tore apart, and I am scrapbooking and crafting with minimum supplies, and unfortunately my Lagoon ink, because it's the older style pad, got packed and is in a tote in the garage, and I hope to pull it out before we actually get on the airplane, but between now and then it is just buried. So I had found these brackets when I was working on my layouts earlier in the week. So they were here in my supplies, and I thought they're perfect colors. I should try them on here. But nothing really seemed to fit for me. So I decided I would just kind of keep it simple. So I added the layered leaves. It's not layered leaves. It's from the Layered Flowers thin cut, but the stitch leaf in there. And then just right on the card base itself, I stamped So Grateful. And I thought about inking the edges, I thought about ripping the edges, and then I decided, from the sketch it was kind of a clean line, so I'm going to do all my ripping and tearing on the next card that I do with the pieces. So here I'm just placing the green stripe in the upper right corner, and then we'll go ahead and put the flower beautiful with all of the Edison bulbs and cameras and floral on that. And I almost forgot to put that little piece of Lagoon cardstock underneath, but thankfully I kind of slipped it in. I'm letting the glue from the pattern paper pick it up, and then I'll add some glue to the back of all of it again. So I thought that was a happy catch, because this glue, man, you put it down and it welds those pages together. And since I'm using the card bases from the Info Bloom card set, I only have a certain number of those. My other supply of card bases is in the garage. And yes, I do have access to it, but it would have required getting up and moving again. And I've had like 18 interruptions today already, I feel. So I wanted to get these done, and I apologize that I'm a few weeks late on them. So I love this little butterfly, but it's going to need some color. So I'm using the Lagoon shimmer brush, and I'm just coloring it in. And my Lagoon shimmer brush is really juicy right now. I wonder if I had used it for splattering and didn't really splatter that much. If you don't know to store your shimmer brushes, you should store them on end with the cap end up so that the brush is pointing to the ceiling. So I finished that first card and just added the butterfly down in the corner. So now on the second card, I'm looking at the sketch again, and I'm trying to decide if I'm going to use these as like the tags that it had on the original sketch. And again, I'm not feeling it. I'm going to keep trying, but I'm not feeling it. I knew at this point that this was just not going to work for me. So those will go by the wayside for another project. So then what am I going to do? And I decided I would go to sketch number 2, and I will have some photos of those in the upper corner for you to look at right here. And so I just decided to rip all of these pieces. Like I said, I was looking at that for the first card. So I'm going to rip all the edges, And I'll just use the front and the back so that I have kind of interspersed between the pattern and the green striped. And just keep in mind, when you rip paper with a white core, if you rip it towards you, then you get the white core towards you. If you rip it away from you, then the white core that's showing will be away from you. So off camera, I just ripped all those so that the white core was facing up. Oh, there's the sketch right there. And then they have it all kind of overlapping each other, and they don't each have their own bounding box. But I was trying to do that, and I'll play with it a couple times to try to emulate more of the sketch. And instead of just having that little relief bar be on the left-hand side, I went ahead and put something all the way across. But I needed, with the ripped edges, I think they just needed to have their own space. So I will glue all these down, and then I decided, okay, now that they've had their own space, now I'm going to go ahead and just kind of do a couple score lines all the way around each box. And I have to say, at this point, I'm really regretting my decision. So I don't know if you create projects and you're going, but Julie does it and it looks so good at Craft with Julie. And I do it and I'm not feeling it. But by the end of the card, I will say that I was brought around and I liked it. But I just was not feeling it as I was doing it, let me tell you. So now we're going to do some embellishment, and I am pulling this flower down towards the lower right corner because I'd like it to cover more of the green stripe versus the pattern paper, so that's why I'm doing that. And then if you haven't watched my channel, I always like to give my leaves at least some dimension and interest, so I just fold those in half. So this is kind of a good start. What kind of sentiment am I going to put on? I am auditioning that butterfly up there. So Grateful's not going to fit, just because will fit only if I cut it. So this stamp set is old and I am all about using my stuff. So I went ahead and cut that stamp and gonna ink it in the charcoal ink right there along the edge of the Lagoon cardstock. For me, I just have to remind myself that I paid money for these stamps and I need them to work for me, not against me. So again, I'm taking the Lagoon shimmer brush and coloring in that butterfly, and I found there was just too much of the white border around the butterfly itself, so I decided to go ahead and fussy trim just the bottom and sides of the butterfly. I don't end up doing up by the antennas because it was enough to make it better. So I didn't take all the white off, otherwise I would have had to really fussy cut it, so just enough to kind of take off some of the white. So as I've been not liking my doodling around each of the blocks, I went ahead and did a couple hashtags across them, and I just really like that. So I like to embellish my envelopes as well, and it just needs to be something quick and easy. Like I said, took that Lagoon ink and then just took one of the little stamps from the Card Making in Full Bloom stamp set. So there are the cards. I hope you ladies have fun creating them. Here's how you can catch up with me. There's a Facebook group linked in the description below. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I would love for you to do that and like my videos, and that lets other people know this is content that Facebook should share. Hope you have a blessed day. Bye-bye.